Hey guys, what is going on? Hello YouTube. So in this video today, we are going to go over pocketoption.com again, but we are not going to talk about my strategy from previous videos. I am going to show you guys different indicators to use for this website and how to use them. All right. So if you guys have watched my previous videos, you know that the indicators I like to use, they're over here and they're highlighted, okay? So really quick, because I know there's a lot of questions in the comments on how to use the website. Guys, I go over that in detail in my first video. So rewatch the first video if you still do not understand how to use the website. But look, the tabs are up here. On the upper left side, all these tabs, you need to practice. You need to just go through the website, click on all the buttons until you get familiarized with them. So up here is where you find your pairs. You click here, you go through all your pairs, all right? The next tab over is how to change your candlesticks time, okay? You can customize your candlesticks here. You can change the time here. You can go from candlesticks to the Hichiaki candles. You can use a line chart like this. If you guys want to use a line chart, this is how it looks, all right? Candles and area. I'm going to go back to candles. And also, if you guys want this little timer that is by the candlestick, let me zoom in. So there's a little timer here that tells you. So this is a 1 minute candlestick. And on this 1 minute candlestick, it's saying I have about 45 seconds left until this candle closes. So if you guys want to have that timer as well, you go to the candlesticks and then you are going to press enable timer. Okay, so click this and enable timer, and that will give you a timer over here where it says M1 for a 1 minute candlestick. You're going to have a timer that's a countdown. So right now it says I have about 12 seconds left on this one particular candle, okay? So that's tab 1, tab 2 is the candles, tab 3 are the indicators, all right? So we're gonna go on tab 3 and we're gonna go over some of these different indicators, okay? Now, as you know from my previous videos, I like the ones that are highlighted. So I like to use the Bollinger Bands, the moving average, the parabolic stars, which are those little dots, the RSI, and the stochastic oscillator. Those are all parts of my strategy that I teach you guys in previous videos. But today I want to go over some other indicators that I do like using, but that are just not part of my strategy, but they are really good as well. So my goal in my mentorship program is to teach you guys how to trade on your own and find your own strategy, okay? Because we're all different. We all see different things. We all have different perspectives, all right? So you guys can use my strategy if you like it, but if you want to maybe tweak some things or like delete one of them, maybe you don't like the Bollinger Bands and you want to add something else, find your own strategy and find what works for you, okay? Everybody has a different strategy, so you just find what works for you. So in this video, I'm going to go over different indicators so you can find what works best for you and what you understand best, all right? So let's just go in alphabetical order. I'm not going to go over all of them because this would be a very long video, but I'm going to go over the ones that I feel like work well. All right. So let's go to the alligator first. So I click the alligator and these lines popped up on my screen. Okay. So you see that the alligator is up. Over here on the upper left side, you see that the alligator is up and it's these 3 lines. Now, if you guys want to hide your indicators, there's a little eye that's right next to the indicator name. There's an eye icon and you can just click it and it hides the indicator, okay? Now I'm going to put it back and hide it again. Put it back, okay? And if you want to change the settings, that's the next tab with the little pencil. and then there's an X if you just want to delete it. Okay, so the 3 lines are the alligator indicator. So how the alligator works is that there's 3 lines, and you need to pay attention to the green line. Okay, these are the preset settings. So I did not change any settings. We're just working with the ones that Pocket Option already has preset. All right, so you pay attention to the green line. When the green line is under or over, it's helping you determine the trend of the market. Okay, so right here, what we're looking at, the green line is underneath the other 2 lines. You see we have a blue line and a red line. You don't necessarily need to really pay attention to these. You just need to know that if the green line is underneath them, you are in a downtrend. And when the green line is over the blue and the red, when the green line is on top, that means you are in an uptrend, okay? So when the candlesticks are above the alligator, you are in an uptrend. And then when you start to see the green line cross and go under, then that means you changed trends, okay? It was a trend change. So you have the candlesticks on top of the alligator over here, you're in an uptrend. Then you have the candlesticks and the green line turn and come in. And now the candlesticks are underneath the alligator and the green line is underneath the 2 lines over here. So you are in a downtrend. All right. That is the overall gist of the alligator to help you determine the trend you are in. All right. You can see it pretty clear right here. So the green line and the candlesticks, they turned into the alligator and came under. And now you are in a downtrend and you would just follow this, follow the trend. Remember, the trend is your friend. You follow the candlesticks underneath and keep taking sells if you are in a downtrend. All right, so that is the alligator. Let's exit out of that. Now let's go to another one. Let's go to the awesome oscillator. I like this one. So down here, you see the awesome oscillator popped up. And these are the pre-settings. I did not change any settings. These are preset. Awesome oscillator. This also helps you determine your trend and how strong the trend is, okay? So right here, if we're talking about the awesome oscillator down here. So the candlesticks turned around down up here, right? So if we look down at the same spot on the awesome oscillator, you see that these green bars, they actually turned red. So when they change colors and turn red, that means that the trend is changing, but you also want to pay attention to how long the bars are. So right here, the bars are short, right? So that means that it's not a strong trend, okay? When the bars are short, it's not that strong of a trend. So now the bars are short and on top. So this was technically an uptrend. Now they turned red. So that's indicating that the market is turning around for a sell, but you have to wait for the bars to come under, and then for them to get longer. So as the bars get longer, it's telling you that the trend is stronger, okay? So it's telling you that this is a strong downtrend, all right? Now, when the bars change colors again, so now they went from red to green. So now the bars turn green and it's telling you that, hey, okay, the sell trend is changing and it's stopping, it's slowing down, and it's turning back up for a buy, okay? So now the buy is changing, right? It's telling you that it's changing, but it's not on top yet. It's still underneath, all right? So this is just like a hint that it's changing trends with the color change, okay? Now the bars turn red again, and it's telling you, hey, we changed his mind. So it's still a strong downtrend, and then it turned green again, right? So you have to pay attention to how long the bars are, and then if they're on the top or on the bottom. All right. So this is a pretty clear one. So the bars were up here, they turned red. It's giving you a hint that a sell is coming, right? So then the sell happened, and when the bars went underneath, right, because they were on top, now they went underneath. So the bars are underneath now, and the bars are getting stronger and longer. So they're getting longer, meaning that this is a strong sell, and then you have them turning green again for the up trend, okay? All right. Now, I'm not going to go over different settings because throughout the years, I have learned different settings for the Awesome Oscillator from different educators in my past. But I would say just stick with the pre-settings because every educator has their own settings that they like, okay? So if you are a beginner, just stick with the pre-settings and just wait for the right confirmations, all right, and be patient. But these are the pre-settings. You can always change them as you get more experience. You can change the settings on these indicators, but just as you start off, leave them as is, okay? So that is the awesome. It helps you know when the trend is changing and when the trend is stronger versus when it's shorter, and meaning it's not a strong trend, okay? Let's erase that one. The next one, let's see, Alligator, awesome. You guys already know about the Bollinger Bands. I don't like these. The demarker, and it's kind of just like the Williamsburg. So I'm going to put those all together. I'll just do it now. Okay, so I'm going to put up the demarker and the Williamsburg together. So as you see, there's two that came up down here, okay? So we have the demarker up and the Williamsburg. These are basically like the RSI, okay? So the RSI is just one line, and it's helping you know when the market is overbought versus oversold, when the market is oversold versus overbought, to catch that reversal, right? So let's just talk about right here. So we have the demarker up top and the Williamsburg at the bottom. All right. So here the demarker came down and it was saying that the market was oversold, and then it started turning back up, telling you to buy, okay? Because like we know, the market can't be oversold forever and it can't be overbought forever. So eventually it's going to turn back around. So right here that happened. The market sold. It was telling you it was oversold, and then it turned back around for the buys, and then it's buying. Same with the Williamsburg, okay? Same thing. It's telling you when the market is oversold, and then it's telling you when to buy. As we see here, the line for the oversold, it crossed over it. So actually the Williamsburg is giving you a slightly earlier entry than the demarker, okay? So the Williamsburg was telling you actually to buy right here, which is right here in the candlesticks. And the demarker, if you would have waited for the turn to hit the line, it would have gave you an entry right here because that's when it hit the line. You see the red line. So I always tell you guys, be patient and wait for it to hit the line, right? So if you would have waited for the demarker to give you the entry, it gave you actually a later entry, okay? So it gave you an entry all the way over here, which was still good for the buy, okay? So from just comparing them, we see that the Williamsburg gives you a slightly earlier entry than the demarker, but essentially they're still the same. They are both telling you when the market is oversold or overbought, all right? And it's very similar to the RSI. So I can just throw up the RSI up there too, just so you guys can see. You see we have the RSI, the Williamsburg, and the DeMarker. And as you guys know from my previous videos, for my RSI, I like to use the number 4. Okay, so the RSI, my settings I like is the number 4. So as you see, when I change the settings to 4, and if we compare all of them, the RSI is giving you the earliest entry to get in for this buy particular, right? So the RSI turned around, it hit the line right here, which would have been the entry. And if you would have got in for a 2 to 3 minute buy, you could have cleared that one with the earliest entry. Now the Williamsburg was giving you the entry right about here is when it hit the line. And that's when it's telling you to buy right here. Same thing, you got in for a 2 to 3 minute buy, you would have cleared. And then the DeMarker is giving you the latest entry here, where it's giving you an entry right here if you waited for the lines to touch, and that would be right here. And it was still a good buy. But this is all 3 compared, okay? So I'm gonna delete it, delete, and delete. All right, let's see what the next one is. Hold on. Okay. The next one, let's see. Let's do the fractals, okay? So I'm gonna click fractal, and now you see these little arrows came up, right? So we have green little arrows on top of the candles and red arrows at the bottom, okay? So the fractals are kind of used as I use my parabolic star dots. They're telling you when the reversal is happening. So when this green little arrow popped up, it was telling you to sell because the arrow is at the top of the candle, so it was telling you to sell. And when the red is at the bottom of the candle, when it pops up, it's telling you to buy. Okay, so when the arrows are at the top, it's telling you to sell. When the arrows are at the bottom, it's telling you to buy. Now, I have used these fractals in the past, and they are very delayed, okay? They pop up about 2 candles after like the actual setup happens. So they are a bit delayed. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is the pre-settings, the fractals on 2. As you get experience, like I said, you can change the settings. So you can find out what works best for you, and you can also change the colors, okay? So maybe you want a red, like a red arrow at the top to tell you to sell, and you could have a green arrow at the bottom to tell you to buy, okay? So you can change your settings, again, by going to the pencil on the side of the indicators and changing the settings, okay? Right here, you want the green to be red and maybe the red to be green. You can change that. All right. So that is the fractals. That's pretty easy to understand. If you do not understand it, just, rewind the video and watch it again. So I'm going to delete the fractal. Let's go to the next one. The MACD is very popular and important to know. A lot of very experienced traders use the MACD, okay? So I click the MACD and we see that it popped up at the bottom, all right? So the MACD, as you see in the middle, it's kind of like the awesome oscillator, right? So in the middle, you have these bars that are similar to the awesome oscillator we already went over, but the important part are the lines, okay? So the important part are the lines. Now, let's go on this big drop here so that it's easy to see. So the part you have to wait for with the MACD is the lines. Now you want to wait for the crosses of the lines, like I tell you guys with the stochastics. It's the same thing. You want to wait for the actual cross of the lines to take the trade. So right here, you see that the bars in the background, they turned red, right? And that's telling you that the trend change is happening and you're about to experience a sell. But you want to wait for the lines to turn and cross. All right. So just because the red bars, they turned red, you actually want to wait for the lines to actually cross and then turn down onto the down bars, onto the bars that are actually underneath, okay? So in this instance, the MACD would have told you your entry was right around here, because you want to wait for the cross and separation of the lines, all right? The same thing I tell you guys with the stochastics, you want to wait for the cross and the separation, clear separation. So the actual entry for this trade would have been right around here, which was right around here for the sell, which was good. So it told you to sell right around here. You could have jumped in any of these candles and sold, you would have cleared, okay? So now for a buy, we would have, it was telling us here that it was kind of crossing, but it kind of like psyched you out, right? So they were really far oversold, and we're waiting for the lines to cross and turn up, right? So the lines didn't cross yet. They didn't cross yet. At least you might think they have crossed, but you didn't see the separation, right? So we're waiting, and then boom, you see the lines cross and there was a clear separation. All right, and then up here you see that the bars turned green and they were starting to get longer and taller. Okay, that's telling you that a stronger buy is happening. So in this case, the entry would have been right around here, because when you saw the separation and the bars were green, so right around here, it was telling you to buy at this candle. So that was still good, because this is a 1 minute chart. And if you went in at this candle and you bought for a 2 to 3 minute trade, you would have cleared, because you would have been all the way up here. Okay. So I just went over a sell right here and a buy. So it's important to wait for the lines to cross and separate, and then you want to have the bars in the background the same color of the trade you're looking for. If you're looking for a sell, you want to have the bars red. If you're looking for a buy, you want to have the bars green. Okay, the MACD is very important for you to learn with binary trading or with long-term trading. A lot of traders like to use the MACD. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. What's the next one? Momentum. I really don't like the momentum one. It's basically like the awesome oscillator, but I just don't like how the lines are all, the bars, they really change fast. They make long bars and short bars and long bars. I don't know. I don't like it because it confuses me. I rather just use the awesome oscillator. Okay. So you can definitely test it out if you want to. They're very similar, but the awesome oscillator is just smoother. Okay, delete that. We already went over moving average. The OSMI is also, it looks very similar to the awesome oscillator, but they just don't change. The colors are preset, like not to change. It's definitely smoother than that previous one I showed you, but if I had a choice, I would still stick with the awesome oscillator, okay? So the whole point of this is that it's telling you that when the bars are on top, it's in an uptrend, and when they start to get shorter and turn down, it's in a downtrend, okay? So when the bars are underneath here and they're long, you're in a strong downtrend, but then when they go up here and they're on top, you are in an uptrend.